What is going on, my beautiful people? Welcome to yet again another episode of the Pivot Mindset Podcast. My name is Justin. I'm your host, and let's go. I'm so excited to have you on yet another episode. Y'all, this podcast is growing. I'm trying to figure out how, but this podcast is growing. No, seriously, man, I appreciate you guys being consistently showing up. Thank you for all of the new listeners, the new subscribers, the people that are posting and sharing and liking and tagging us on Instagram and thumbs up on YouTube and all that fun stuff. Man, we're so excited to continue to be growing out this community. We're actually headed into our 1-year anniversary. I wonder if we should do something about that. Maybe we should do something special, y'all. Maybe we should do like a live stream, and I don't know. I'm thinking about doing something cool. I want to be intentional about success, intentional about being consistent around things. So maybe we'll think about something to do. Feel free to drop and send me some recommendations of stuff at _Justin Carter on Instagram. You guys probably know where to find me. But let's get into this. So before I talk about the topic for today, I do want to give a quick plug to Entrepreneur 0 to 100. Entrepreneur 0 to 100 is a new community that I just created last week. So we had our first session last week, but what it is the #1 community for entrepreneurs on the path of creating their first $100,000 business. And so we're going to be equipping you. We're going to be working with you every single week. We meet every single Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And this is for folks who say, you know what, I'm actually going to be intentional, and I'm not going to continue to wing it. I'm going to stop winging this thing, and I'm actually be intentional about learning the strategies and the principles and the tactics and understanding the mindset that I need to develop in order to attract the kind of business that will help take my life to the next level. And so that's all Entrepreneur 0 to 100 is about. So if you want to know more information about that, go ahead and check out my Instagram at _Justin Carter. You could also check me out on Facebook at Justin Carter, or send me a message or anything like that. And I'd love to share with you more information about Entrepreneur 0 to 100, where we are taking businesses from 0 to 100. All right, so let's dive right in. I want to talk about how most people are too busy to be successful. Y'all, most people, I've just come to this conclusion that most people are way too busy to be successful. I have conversations with so many people every single day. I'm always talking to entrepreneurs. I'm always talking about people that are building out a business or trying to get their idea from conception to implementation. And what I've realized is that most people have faith for success. They've got faith to dream, but they don't have faith to actually put the time in. They actually don't have the faith. They actually don't have the ability and the wherewithal to put time in to actually get what they want. It's so easy to just sit back and say, you know what, I got this brilliant idea and one day it's going to happen. What's much harder than that is to say, I got this brilliant idea and I'm gonna wake up every single day and actually schedule time to implement the steps necessary to take this thing to the next level. Most people don't have the time to be successful. And the busyness is just getting in the way of the success you want. Let me be clear about this. And this is something that I've noticed as well, is that every single person under the sun is busy. Everybody is busy. So if everybody is busy, we got to know that busy doesn't necessarily mean success. Just because you're busy doesn't mean you're successful. And so I want to right now free your mind from busyness and accomplishments or busyness and success. They are mutually exclusive. They have nothing to do with one another. There are broke people that are busy. There are wealthy people that are busy. So busy has nothing to do with success. There are people that have beautiful families that are busy. There are people that have terrible families that are busy. There are people that are able to, travel around the world and do absolutely everything they want to do, and they're busy. There are people that can't afford to do anything in life, and they're stuck in the house, and they can barely pay their bill. Though everybody's busy, y'all. Every single person is busy. And so it's not just busy that is going to be important for you to learn how to handle and work through for you to be successful. Because to get to the next level, what if you locked yourself in a room in your house for the next 6 months? Maybe not in a room, but maybe in your house. All right. Right. I think that we wildly underestimate the time necessary, the time tax of being successful. You're not going to get there if you don't have time, y'all. Your dreams aren't just gonna come because you spend 2 hours a week and you think about it. That's not what's going to actually make it happen. You've got to really pray like it all depends on God. But guess what, man? You got to put in work like it all depends on you. And it's time to like get away from the busyness and get into effectiveness. Because just because you're busy doesn't mean that time and those hours that you're spending are effective hours. Man, I talk to people that, man, they're busy with their, the kids recital, and they got kids sporting events, and they got to go to the practice for the kid, and then they got to go to the game for the kid, and then they got to do this out of season thing because their kid plays travel ball, and they got to travel, and they'll be out for 3 to 4 days, and then when they come back, they got a couple of days down, and then they got this weekend thing for the kid. Like, yo, can we talk about this for a minute? Let's talk about your children. I just think that like your children playing sports is a luxury for those that actually like have the margin to allow that. Like, this might be controversial, y'all. This might not rub people the right way, but it's just hard for me to be okay with, like, if you're broke, why are your children playing sports? Like, why unless you're using that time to drop them off so you can get a couple hours in your day to do some more work or put in some and build more connections or whatever, unless you're using that time to get some space to be able to do more. But if you're broke, you're dropping off your kids to practice and you're watching every single practice, you're broke, and they get to participate in every single sport that is all around the year. How is that? How have we prioritized our children playing sports or our children being in all these extracurricular activities over you moving the needle to create legacy and actually be an example for your child? To me, you can't dish off example to a coach. You can't dish off example to a community of children. You can't dish off example to a sports team. Yes, I'm not saying that stuff is not important. I played sports all of my life. But like as an adult, I realized, and I've talked to other adults that have children that are in tons of sports and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, yo, maybe if you like your child stopped playing basketball, you would actually be able to retire. Like if little Johnny stopped playing basketball from the age he was 6, if you said, hey, Johnny, you can't play basketball from 6 to age 9, I can actually focus on actually creating a legacy and actually retiring us. But no, little Johnny's got to do every single thing little Johnny wants to do. But you broke. But your family's struggling. Let me get off of that because I feel some offense. I'm offending a lot of people right now. But in essence, family, what I'm trying to say is to get to the next level, it's going to mean that you're going to have to create margin to do that. That getting to the next level doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do it with the same schedule that you currently have. Getting to the next level will mean that you will have to sanctify time in your calendar to be intentional about doing it. Because again, I don't speak to one person that's not busy. Everybody's busy. And so let's look at your calendar, right? And if I looked at your calendar, would your calendar leave clues on what you're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years? Your calendar is absolutely leaving clues on what you're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years. And so if I look at your calendar right now and your calendar say that the only things you're doing is stuff with keeping up with the status quo. Only thing you're doing is you're going to work, you're taking Johnny to practice, you hanging out on the weekends, you're relaxing, watching TV, you're caught up on the Netflix specials, you're at everybody's birthday, you're at everybody's holiday event, you're at if that's what your calendar says, I can guarantee I know where you're going to be in the next 3 to 5 years. The same place you are now. It's what happens. But if your calendar has intentionality in it, if your schedule has some places and some blocks, come on, y'all, like listen to me on this. If your schedule has some blocks in place, come on, and those blocks show development time, or those blocks have reading my personal development book, or those blocks are meeting with my coach, or those blocks are hanging out at Entrepreneur 0 to 100 for an hour and a half a week. If you got some blocks in your calendar that'll help you be intentional about growth, that's half the battle. But most of you can't block out an hour a week. Get this, y'all. There's 8,760 hours in a year. Most people can't block out 3 to 5 of those hours a week to actually be intentional about creating the life and the business that they want. Most people are so busy. I'm so busy. I have no time to do anything, but I'm broke. Like, come on, family. Like, how is it that we've got all this time to live mediocre, but we don't have any time to live successfully? Successfully married, successfully financially, successfully as a parent, successfully from a mental perspective, successfully in business, successfully with going and get the bag, going to make some money, going to provide for yourself and for your family. You can't be so busy chasing all this mediocre stuff that doesn't really move the needle that you leave the stuff that'll really help you like later, right? We talk about the hard, easy principle. I can make the decisions that are hard now so I can live an easy life later, or I can do everything easy now and live a very hard life later. And so it's your choice to choose. You just got to be more intentional, right? And so I want to encourage you that fast is slow and slow is fast. Like, what would slow growth look like for you today? Fast is slow and slow is fast. And so you got to slow down. You've got to stop moving so fast. And I'm not just talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself on this one. This is a point that, all right, I hear you, God. Like, this is a piece that I need to also lean into, that fast is slow and slow is fast. And just because you're busy doesn't mean you're effective. And just because you're busy doesn't mean you're running at optimal pace. You're too busy to be successful. You're way too busy to be successful. You're way too tied up to be successful. And so if you took a minute to slow down, my first step is going to be to look at your calendar. Look at your calendar. Determine what things are actually in there that shouldn't be there. And also look at your calendar to see how much is this time that I spend every single day focused on what I want to be next, focused on the vision that I've got for my life, focused on the future that I have for my family. How much of this time is focused on that? 2, what I want you to, the other tip that I want to give you is you got to lock yourself. You might have to put your head down. You might have to take some moment of solitude for some months. You may need to say, you know what, for the next 3 months, all the extracurriculars are cut out. Maybe for the next 6 months, all the extra, depending on how bad your life is right now, it might need to be a year. And here's the cool thing is it won't take a long time. Like if you have dedicated time and energy, really dedicated for one block of time in your life, you can make significant strides. And so maybe you need to block off these next 3 months. Maybe these next 3 months needs to be a sabbatical. Maybe you need to take a sabbatical from doing a bunch of mediocre stuff. And maybe you need to say, hey, over the next 3 months, I'm only going to do the hard stuff, and I'm going to be selfish and look at my time and stop dividing it by everybody else and start being intentional about creating the kind of life that I want. Maybe I do that for the next 3 months, maybe the next 6, maybe the next 12. Okay? And then the third one, here's my last piece that I think it could be really important to being able to help you find the time and slow down and stop being so busy so you can be intentionally successful is I think you got to tap into a thought to really brainwash yourself on what this is like. Because unless you change your mind, you will not change your life. And so you've got to change your mind about what success looks like and what tasks are necessary and how important it is to get uncomfortable and how important it is to continue to take risk and how important it is to continue to do all the things you are afraid of. You got to get tapped into a community. I don't see a better community than this one. Continue to listen to this podcast. Join Entrepreneur 0 to 100. Tap in with me and we'll talk and I can help you really like be intentional about taking the strides that you want to take. But I just feel like you got to get connected to some new information, whether that's a book, whether that's a tribe of mentors that you have, whether that's going to a conference to really get you level set and reset something. But you got to brainwash yourself about the life that you want. Your life is so brainwashed. Your brain is so washed on mediocre things that you're creating a mediocre life. But family, it's time to take the pivot, all right? It's time now to take the pivot. You can make the decision today to live an intentionally pivoted life. We know here that life is all about the pivots, and those who decide to make the pivots decide to become successful. Success is a deliberate decision that you make each and every day that I'm going to pivot. I got the shirt on. I'm going to pivot my life. My life is going to live pivoted. I'm not going to be the same person that I was yesterday. I am also not held liable to being the same person that I was last month, last year, last decade. I can make the decision today to be the best version of myself. I can make the decision today to live a completely different life, to have completely different thoughts, to have a completely different circle, to make completely different money, and to have completely different vision. I can make that decision today. It's up to me and it's up to you. So you got to make the choice. You got to make the decision. Am I going to live this pivoted life? If I'm going to be about this life, am I going to be about the success that I want? If I'm going to be about the vision that I have for my life? Or am I going to be so busy that I let 20 years go by, 30 years go by, and bring up the shoulda, woulda, couldas? Who you going to be? All right, y'all. I'll check y'all in the next episode. Peace.